Hey everyone, what's up? It's Mike here, the creator of XR07, popping in with a hopefully quick update about some of the various happenings in the world of XR07. And the big news to kick off right away is the brand new single, Bitrate Love, and the accompanying episode will be out on July 17th. We mentioned it on Instagram with a different date, but we have changed that to the 17th to better position ourselves with the release of this single. This is a collaboration with a fantastic Korean duo, Love Stereo. I really encourage you to check these guys out. They're incredible. They're like electronic, pop, alternative, rock. There's so many different sounds within the project. Fantastic people. Do check out Love Stereo, and I hope you enjoy Bitrate Love on the 17th. And do feel free to hit the pre-save. Hit that pre-save. And straight away, I just want to say thank you to the XR07 Patreon family. You guys are amazing. I actually recently started putting some new unreleased XR07 songs on the Patreon. There's a whole host of cool rewards already. Exclusive music, more behind the scenes, early access, even personal messages from the band. But I've recently started putting some more unreleased stuff because I realized there's quite a few songs that never quite made their way to fruition because either artists disappeared or some other reason, and there's quite a few little bits and pieces there, so I'm going to be putting that there, so check it out. So some updates in my life which directly affect the productivity of XR07. One of them is I've got a brand new laptop, which is overdue because for pretty much the whole of XR07 I've been working with another wonderful laptop, but it's had a few issues. For example, the screen flickering like a mofo. You got to get it in just the right place for it to be cool, and then you start typing and it will start doing it again. Laptop's been getting quite slow even after running cleanups, but the big thing is that it's on Windows 8 and everything needs Windows 10 now. But for the past week or so I've been contacting various plugin companies, software companies to get expired downloads and basically repopulate this laptop with all my plugins and my toys, all the things I need to make XR07. And one of those things I'm doing is I'm trying to transition to Cubase. So if you're a music person, Cubase is a DAW, digital audio workstation, a program to make music. And I've been using Sonar for most of my life. Sonar Producer 8.5 is fantastic. It does everything I need, but it doesn't support VST Freeze, which is the new standard of audio plugins and software. Cakewalk do have a successor to Sonar called Cakewalk BandLab, which is done by a different company because it got bought out. It's kind of clunky and buggy, so I've decided to switch to Cubase. And when you move from one bit of software to another, it's like this whole learning curve all over again, learning how to do stuff. And I'll tell you what, there's some really awesome things in Cubase, so I'm actually really enjoying it and really getting used to it. But there's just some things you kind of take for granted, you know, like in Sonar, I just click anywhere and that can move the timeline, play from there. In Cubase, there's this narrow area you got to click to move the timeline around. You know, if I want to open a plugin, double click, boom. In Cubase, nope, got to click here and this icon, minor thing. Oh, I've accidentally removed this plugin from this bus, so I'll just do undo, Control Z. What? It won't undo that? So I've got to like go back to an old save or put in the settings again? What is that? So I do my vocal editing in VVocal on Sonar, which is fantastic. It's really clear. You can mess with the pitch really easily. You can change the timing, mess with the sound, get rid of breaths and stuff. It's just so easy to use. You can put in a custom scale. Cubase does not have anything of that level. It's got very audio. But then there's Melodyne. So I've been trying to get used to Melodyne as well. And as I understand it, the trial version, Melodyne Essentials, just is a bit useless, and Melodyne Editor is the one to go with. So I don't know, I'm in two minds about that. At the moment, I'm just using VVocal because it works. If you do music, what DAW do you use? Let me know. I'm planning to do some more live streams, especially when the new release comes out. Part of the reason I haven't done more is one, balancing with life and work and things like that. Two, being an introvert, it kind of takes a lot of social energy for me to do something like that. And the more I leave it, the bigger it becomes this bigger thing to do. But we should do it because I really do love connecting with you guys on the live streams. So in the UK, it is election time. And you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit controversial, a little bit dangerous in the internet world. Is I'm going to tell you how I'm going to vote and the reasons for that. Disclaimer, as hard as it is to believe in the current world we live in, you don't have to have the same opinion as me. We can still be friends if we have a different perspective on things. In fact, I think listening to different perspectives is an extremely important part of the human experience. Looking at different data or a different point of view allows you to look at things from a different angle than you may have considered before. And even if you still disagree with the person, at least you know where they're coming from. At least you understand why they feel how they feel, which is much better than demonizing people with bad labels just because they think differently to you. You know, that's what cults do, dude. Don't be like that. If you've been following this channel, you may be aware of some of the things I care about or some of the things I'm worried about. One of those is the World Economic Forum. Unelected, power, control-hungry people that seem to have the ears of various world leaders, including the current UK Prime Minister is a big WEF person. The Labour candidate, Starmer, is a huge WEF person. He's actually said that he prefers WEF, Davos, to Westminster. The World Health Organization, again, unelected people, suspect data and suspect motives. You may not be aware of the pandemic treaty that was attempted to be signed in June. When the unelected WHO decide that there should be a lockdown, all the countries that are part of this treaty have to lock down. I haven't checked if there's any other rule stipulations like mandates and things like that. What you can probably tell by the number of times I've used the word unelected is I really care about national sovereignty. I think the people that you're voting for, the people that you're electing, should be the ones making rules or have something to do with making those rules and be held accountable. I don't think it should be unelected people that the general public have no idea who they are with rules that supersede the national rules, which is exactly what the EU does. Digital currency, another thing the WEF want to do. The Bank of England, lots of banks around the world. So digital currency is dangerous. I'll tell you why. Because at the moment, here's how it works. At the moment, you get money in your account and you can spend it pretty much as you wish. With digital currency, in your bank account, any transaction you make, any transaction is associated with a digital ID with lots of information about you. So there's a privacy thing there. But the main thing, they plan to put lots of rules and restrictions around how you spend your own money and score things. So for example, say you want a packet of snacks, you could be blocked from doing that because, hey, this packet of crisps has a certain carbon score and you've already bought certain amounts of other products which have a certain carbon score, so that's too much carbon score, so you can't buy this packet of crisps. You can imagine where that would go. Like, say you want to fuel your car to get to work, but oh no, you spent too much money heating your house already, so no, you can't fuel your car. They openly talk about this stuff in their talks. Another is someone deciding morality around certain products, like alcohol would have a lower score, which either disincentivizes you from buying alcohol, for example, or it might even block you. What's the extent of it? This is very much in the direction of China's social credit scores, where depending on your score, you can do certain things, basically depending how compliant you are with the government. I mentioned it in this video with some case studies about it and just how insane it is. I don't like censorship. I think you should be able to call out corruption wherever you see it. I don't like debanking, not being allowed access to your own money, your own funds because of a worldview. That's insane. You know, a similar thing happened in Canada, didn't it? So because of these reasons and these things I care about, there's only one party that talks about these things with any conviction or at all, and that is Reform UK. They also talk about the big taboo, immigration, aka overpopulation. And if you can't discuss that without throwing the word racist or some smear, then you're like a child that's holding your ears and just going la la la. You know, overpopulation is a problem that affects every single one of us. It's not a racist thing. You fall from the economy just to wait in times at the NHS or whatever it may be. And also my personal connection to immigration is I love legal immigration. I love it. I met my wife because she was a student studying in the UK. She's originally from the Philippines. I tell you what, we played by the rules and it was a really long, expensive, emotional process. I wrote a lot about it in my band Mixie One. We had a long distance relationship for 1 year while we were trying to sort this out. In that time, we got a fiance visa, spouse visa, indefinite leave to remain, and now she's a British citizen, and that cost so much money and so much stress. You know, a band I was in, Broken Butterfly X, for like 3 or 4 years, the vocalist was a Korean student. I've had many friends through the immigration system, so I love legal, proper, legitimate immigration. And you know what? I would rather my taxpayer money go to helping homeless legal citizens on the street or families which are desperately struggling with the insane energy costs, rather than my taxpayer money funding the accommodation and lifestyle of people that, unlike us, broke the rules to be here. There's a word for that, isn't there? So there you go, I'm voting Reform UK for those reasons. And the mainstream media in the UK do not like it. If you haven't seen it, Channel 4 tried to smear Reform with an actor saying not nice things. and it's been revealed now that he is an actor who specialises in undercover work and has worked with Channel 4 before. It's just insane. BBC, hostile, biased audiences that don't represent the majority of the UK. Sky News, my God, it's insane. It's like watching a little petulant child like reporting. How is that the state of journalism these days? Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, basically got a milkshake in the face, and the reporter was like, oh yeah, he deserved it. It's like, oh, humbling moment. And there was a time he talked about the things that I mentioned, and it went to the anchor, and she was like, oh, more inflammatory comments from Nigel Farage. Here's a couple of tips for you. One, when you're watching news channels or media, when people start adding these extra unnecessary adjectives and describing words, they're trying to influence you. They're trying to tell you what to think. Tip 2, if someone is trying to smear the character of someone rather than the data or the logic of what they're saying, but they're going after character assassination rather than the actual argument, usually means they don't have much of a leg to stand on. And that just applies in like general life. So there you go. And you don't need to agree with me. We're allowed to have different opinions. Variety is the spice of life. But I will say, if you're having a knee-jerk animal brain reaction of a not nice word because I mentioned Reform UK, I strongly encourage you to take a step back, do some soul searching and critical thinking, because all the things I'm saying are from a good place, from a good heart, and you don't have to agree. We all have our opinions, but we are not our opinions. We are human beings, and we're here to evolve and grow. Anyway, 17th of July, Bitrate Love. Do please check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Much love. Speak soon.